Hello, Twin Flame Tribe. This is Johan Conradi from Twin Flame Mission SA. I'm a Twin Flame coach and mentor, reaching out to South African Twin Flames everywhere. I'm here to assist you on your journey. I'm a Twin Flame myself. I know how difficult this journey can be, so let's get right into it. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the pain body, what it is, where it fits in. So let's start off again by saying, that you and your Twin Flame are one soul. You are one soul that are incarnated into two different polarities, a divine feminine and a divine masculine polarity, into two bodies on the earth plane. Now, everybody has a twin flame. It's not always relevant. It only becomes relevant when you and your twin, when your soul, your shared soul is close to ascension, then the twins meet up. And what then happens is that the divine masculine twin triggers an event in the divine feminine twin that is called the dark night of the soul. It is essentially an initiation journey. It is an awakening where the divine feminine twin then realizes that, they are not their mind, that they are in fact their soul. We're made up of a threefold construct, the mind, the body, and the soul. That when we die, our minds die, our body dies, but that our soul lives on. That we, you and your twin are actually one soul, and that essentially makes you the same being. You are one being. And the divine feminine twin is then awakened to this knowing. The divine masculine flame, through running away from the divine feminine twin, triggers this dark night of the soul event that basically destroys the divine feminine's life in totality. It's a destruction of the divine feminine's egoic life. All the old structures and templates are essentially broken down. That goes along with great pain and suffering. And then when the divine feminine twin emerges from this journey, they have awakened and they move into ascension. They start living from the soul space, from their higher self, and they realize that they are no longer their egos. And that is usually when union happens, where your divine masculine twin then shows up in your life again, and you can resume union if you so choose. Now, there is a myriad of blockers that stand in the way of this journey, and probably the pain body is one of the most essential of these blockers that are thrown into the mix, that hamper the twins from reaching union, from this ascension journey happening. And the pain body is basically a construct that your mind creates to keep the illusion of self intact. This illusion of self is often referred to as Maya, and your ego does everything in its power to keep that illusion intact. It tries its best to survive like any living organism. Now, if we just delve into the ego a little bit, so your mind is made up of your subconscious and your conscious mind. So that is your intellectual mind, your impressionable mind. It is made up of your emotions. Your emotions are basically your body's reaction to the thoughts of your mind. The mind is also made up of the etheric, and that is what the mind actually uses to create and manifest things out into the 3D world. We have the ability to create just like God does, and all you have to do to see that is look around you and look at all the creations of mankind. They always have consequences because we often create on autopilot because our minds can't stop thinking. But essentially, if we look at the egoic construct, the mind keeps you out of the moment of now, because in the now you find your soul. It doesn't want you to realize that now moment where your whole life unfolds. It wants to create timelines. It wants to tie you to those timelines and the painful events that it associates with those timelines. It then wants to create pain and suffering for you from those timelines. It wants to project future timelines for you that is possibly better or worse than your life situation at the moment. But all of this is done as a ruse to actually keep you out of the now moment. Now, if when your mind creates a timeline, it is time only exists for the mind. It doesn't exist for the soul. The soul is immortal, as you know. It's infinite. It's singular. But the concept of time does not exist for the soul. So time is essentially only a egoic mind construct. It is basically where your mind takes everything that's happened to you in your life, it puts that into a sequence and it associates it, over a period of time. Imagine if you had no memory, that would not exist. There wouldn't be a history that you associate with. That history wouldn't validate you externally. It wouldn't define you in any way. You would just live in the now. So essentially, that is what your mind does for you. It then creates that timeline with all the pain and trauma associated with it. Twin flames are very often victims of abuse, physical, emotional, sexual abuse in their childhood and even young adult lives, through abusive relationships and whatnot. So there's actually a lot for your mind to take and associate to that timeline, and it then associates different personalities with that timeline. The main personality that it then associates to that timeline is the pain body. Another big one is the inner child. We'll talk about that on another day. But basically, the let's call it the most prevalent personality that your mind creates for you, and then associates you with, and then tries and make you believe that you are that persona, is the pain body. And it's called the pain body because this is a construct that your mind creates, and it packs all that yucky, trauma, painful history of your past into that body. It then uses that body to filter any event, any interaction that you have with any people out there, including your 3D twin. It uses that pain body to filter any event or interaction against that. It associates it with some memory from your past, and it then acts from that pain body in causing hurt to the person that you interact with. That is typical, very egotistical behavior. It's like throwing tantrums, anger fits, verbal abuse, almost narcissism, if I can put it that way, threatening behavior, defensive behavior, stubbornness, resistance. All of these things come from the pain body. It's your ego's attempt to keep the other person away from you, not to connect, to create that illusion of separation, that you're standing away and separate from everybody around you, that nobody understands you, that you're living in this pain and suffering, and that nobody has empathy for you, nobody understands your situation. It is all made up. Guys, I'm going to say this again. It is all made up. You are your soul. You are not this pain body construct. There's a saying that goes, hurt people hurt people. And that is essentially what the pain body construct is. It is this monster that your ego creates within you. It deliberately attaches memories of all your past trauma to that body. It validates you against that body, and it then uses that as an excuse to be nasty and horrible to the people around you. It is not true. You can stop it right now. You are your soul. You and your twin are one soul. You are one being. You are the same being. A soul is singular. A soul does not act out. It is always the same. A soul is made up of unconditional love. It is made up of peace, and it's made up of joy. These are states of being. They are not emotions. These are states of being. And that is why we say you and your twin, to be in union, has to be. So that you no longer associate yourself with these egoic constructs of the persona, with all the negative emotions that go with that, the crying, the suffering, the pain, the bitterness, the hurt, the anxiety. All of those things are constructs of the ego. If you associate with your soul, you are by default beyond all of that. You don't need to go and see a psychiatrist. You don't need to do healings and clearings. you're just beyond that. It doesn't exist for you anymore because you've shed the shell of the ego. You start living from your higher self, and that is basically then where you realize you find your twin. Once you realize this, and once you detach from your ego and you detach from your twin in 3D, is when your twin shows up in your life again. So, in other words, detachment is detachment from the pain body, it is detachment from the ego, it is detachment from your twin in 3D, because these are all illusionary concepts. You are your soul. Your soul is infinite, it does not have the concept of time. And this is so important. You can shed your pain body today. You don't need to go and see a psychiatrist. You don't need to follow patterns of escapism, like addiction, being addicted to pornography or television or abuse or alcohol or drugs, or toxic relationships. You don't need this stuff. These are the things that your mind actually chains you to. It wants to chain you because if it can chain you to these escapism behaviors, it's got more events to associate to its timeline, more things to validate your pain body, more things to make you believe that you are that pain body. And let me tell you now, you are not. You can set yourself free right here, right now. How do you do that? Well, first of all, you need to embrace the fact that you are your soul. And by embracing that fact, you realize that you are your twin. You are one being. That person does not need to be in your space to be together. You are already together. All you need to find is to find your soul, to find your twin. Then nothing else matters anymore. So basically, to do that, you have to realize you have to start living in the now. You need to surrender to your life. You need to surrender to your life situation. You need to stop subscribing to the external validation from other people, where you can get away with acting like a victim, where you can get away with acting like a narcissist or toxic. It's no longer on. You need to keep yourself accountable from your higher self, from your soul, from your higher intelligence. How do you do this? Your soul is going to start watching your ego from today onwards. You're going to become aware of your ego. You're going to start becoming aware that your ego is separate from yourself. This construct has always been inside you. It is your soul. It is immortal. It is always there. And it is the same soul that is in you that is also in your twin. The same soul. That is why twin flames feel so connected, why they have telepathy, why they share metaphysical energy, why they feel each other's emotions even when they're in separation. It is because it is the same soul that is watching both egos, yours and theirs. The ego is separate. You have a different set of personalities to your twin because those are the mind constructs created in both of you. They created specifically to create the illusion of your separation. You are over here, your twin is over there. You may be in separation from your twin and you're going through a very hard time because of it. That is your personality. It is your ego associating pain and suffering to your pain body. Don't fall for it. So start becoming aware of your mind. Don't judge the thoughts of your mind and ego. Just become aware of it. Watch your emotions as your mind goes through the day-to-day activity as it tries to activate your pain body. A pain body can be in an active or a passive state. Whenever something triggers your pain body, and twins are notoriously good at triggering each other's pain body and mirroring, the traumas of the past to one another. If you can't live out of your soul space, that triggers the soul, the pain body within your ego, and that then triggers pain and suffering through hurtful behavior, through toxicity, through being horrible with one another. So if you start watching your ego from the soul, you become aware of this behavior, you stop it in its tracks, you stay in the now. You don't drift into past memories, painful memories of the past. You let go and surrender those. You stay in the present. You don't drift off to future projections. And your life becomes a meditation, a day-by-day meditation. And I don't mean where you go and sit on a pillow and you meditate. I mean, as you walk through your day with your day-to-day activities, your work, your interaction with your family, whomever else, you just always remain aware of your thoughts and emotions and realize that's a separate construct. Then very soon you will realize, when the pain body is acting up, the pain body often, is like a bully. It starts becoming defensive. It angers quickly. It acts out. It very often likes to play the martyr and the victim. You will start recognizing this and even smile and know that this is your mind's work at play to activate that and to cause more pain and suffering for yourself. So let go of your pain body today. Live in the now. Be the watcher. Be ever vigilant. Your mind wants to create separation. Once you let go and detach from your mind, you absolutely in union with your twin, whether they're with you or not, because you're one being. This cannot be changed in life or death or beyond. Doesn't matter. You will always be one being. Don't let the pain body make you believe otherwise and create more pain and suffering for you. Guys, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, go over to the website twinflamemissionsa.wordpress.com. There's a lot of free content there for you guys. There's a self-study course that you can buy. It contains everything you need to know to traverse the twin flame journey and the journey towards ascension. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you. Bye.